What's going on, guys? BLAZIN here, and welcome back to another live stream with the Knights of Teleria. Today, we have some special guests on. We have, to my right, Mr. JR Star 3. Jay, how are you doing today? All right, Jay's having some technical difficulties, so we're going to move on. And we have Gestal Gaming. Gestal, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
There we go. Now he's back. All right, Gestal, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How's your week been?
It's been great, man. A lot of news came out in Raid, a lot of exciting stuff. Or maybe exciting, maybe not exciting, but it's great to see that the wheels are turning over there still.
Yeah. I feel like Plarium actually listened to you last week about a search filter, huh?
Yeah, not only that, they stole my website, but you know, they said, "Hey, royalties are in the mail, man." That's cool.
All right, that's glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. All right, let's give Jay a minute here. Get his screen fixed.
Yeah, I'm back. You guys hear me?
All right, now we can hear you. Are you good?
Hopefully.
Alrighty. Let's see here. There we go. Fixed you right up. And I think you're still lagging, Jay.
Looks like froze again.
Alright. So, yeah, we got lots of stuff today, right? We got lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of things came out. We got a new fusion coming up. We have search filters coming to the game. We have no energy cap being increased for us, unfortunately. We have lots of fun and exciting things. Actually, you know what? I should probably pull up the what's next video in Raid, and we can kind of look at it as we go through. Let's see here. Let's pull this up. I like it. Gestal comes up right here.
That's a good looking chat.
Yeah. If you guys haven't already subscribed to Gestal, make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, right? Make sure you guys go subscribe to this other guy over here, Grim Reaper. Go give him a look. Let's see here. Raid Shadow Legends. And where am I going to find their What's Next Raid video? All right, here we go.
As well as...
All right, we're gonna... No thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and mute that. And start from the start. All right, so yeah, first thing we're gonna talk about is we are getting Ascensions for accessories. Thoughts on that, man? Are we happy that we have another resource we got to farm out? Are we happy that, we're going to have to do a lot more work on our accounts to be able to progress in the end game? I'm going to go ahead and throw this to Jay first.
So luckily, they're not, the ascension is not going to be crazy like percentages. It's still going to be like, flat HP, flat attack. So it's not that crazy. Some people were wondering.
Jay, I think we're having some technical difficulties on your side still, my man.
If
You keep cutting in and out with a robot voice. So while we're waiting for Jay, I'll let him get his stuff together. And Gestal, thoughts? You excited? Yay, nay?
Well, new content's always cool, I guess. Like I like new bosses coming out and having to come up with new compositions. I like that they try to find any way they possibly can not to allow you to use Geo, which I think it explains this boss perfectly. In terms of another thing to farm, I think that certainly doesn't thrill me. Another resource is kind of frustrating. Like I already forget the names of everything as it is. Like I gotta remember another name to a resource. Extract, is that what it is? Extract. But
Yeah.
I think one guy who's been hanging out my stream for a while, Loriander, brought up like, why don't they just make you get like another way to get oils? Like if you don't want to farm Sand Devils, you could farm this one, and both of them would give you oils, and both would upgrade accessories and artifacts. I think, I like that idea, as a user, I guess, but I guess from Plarium side, they kind of want to force you into more content, or not necessarily force you in terms of like paying money, but in terms of like they're gonna put something out, they want you to use it almost, whether you want to or not. We're gonna incentivize you, whether it's through the advanced quests or whatever.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm not a complete fan at all on this. I like new dungeons. Yeah, I like being able to do more fun stuff. I think they probably should have just had Sand Devils because it's already difficult enough for players to try to get it done as is, right? So if they had just left it as it was, had Sand Devils be able to farm that out, because now we gotta, have another team to farm that out, and God knows what is going to be, what the team's gonna be. I mean, this boss looks ugly. The boss himself looks good. The abilities look ugly.
Yeah.
But welcome to the stream, Buster's Choice. Royal Chef, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us, guys. So yeah, we're gonna be having to get some lesser extract, greater extract, and superior. But it's going to be another resource that they're gonna throw at us, which is also one of my biggest gripes. Is they're giving us more things to do, but they're taking away the consistency of what we were able to get in the past, right? We were getting a lot more energy pots, even though now they're giving us more in promo codes, and we were getting a lot more books. We're now getting less. So it's going to definitely change some things up for us. Actually, I wanted to play this part here where they talk about the
Phantom
boss.
Shogun's Grove is where you'll find these extracts. But like every other dungeon, there's someone there to stop you. Akumori, the Phantom Shogun. He won't just let you take his stuff and run.
Now,
coming straight out of Shadowkin and...
This guy just looks cool. I've got to say, I think he's like one of the best bosses that they've designed in game. What are your thoughts on him? You like him? You think so? Do you agree with him being like one of the best looking ones?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. They definitely have some cool ones, but I would say this has got to be up there. Definitely unique with, adding a horse, 2 weapons, and he does single target, which I feel like is fairly unique to boss. I feel like all boss do AoE except for a few. Yeah, I think it looks awesome. I think they did a great job with it. I like that they tied it in with the Shadowkin theme, and yeah, man, yeah, definitely one of the best.
Yeah, no, I think some of the dungeon bosses so far have just been a reskin, just different color, and that's about it. And I think this guy just came right in and just looks so cool. Yeah, have you guys ever watched what was that? There was a cartoon, not an anime I used to watch, Ronin Warriors. I don't know if you ever watched it when you were younger. But he reminds me of like the white Ronin warrior that like they all combined into. It's just got like all the swords, everything. He just looks so awesome.
That's cool.
So awesome. I think Jay is trying to come back in and out. So let's go ahead and go through. Where are we here? Now we're gonna have the Sylvan Watchers crypt, right? which is about time. Sylvan Watch has been out for about 6 months. We are going to have a few, have you started working on your teams yet for Sylvan Watchers?
Well, I have enough that are at 60. I'm hoping to just be able to throw gear on them and be good to go. I think Elva's, they had her as a fairly large amount of sacreds. What was it, 20?
20, yeah.
Guaranteed for her, but I definitely went for that because I felt like she would certainly be very useful in faction wars, and she's a great champ regardless. But so yeah, I'm ready to roll there. I have everyone. I don't have that Rue arc that you got, but I got the Allele and the OL.
Well, this isn't me. This is this is what is up on the video. What I have.
Okay.
It's not that much, actually.
Okay.
I do have Elva. I don't have Olea. I do have Lorak. And I do have Allele. So I think I'll be pretty all set for the dungeon.
Yeah, and Ornn's a beast.
Works. Ornn is a beast, yeah. I think he's going to be a must along with Ruella. So
Yeah.
I think
Nia might be good too.
She's
an ally protect. Yeah.
So there'll be definitely a lot of MVPs in this faction, and I think Saphira was a big proponent of Pathfinder Cat.
Okay.
Because of the block buffs on the A1, and then you could actually put her in a stun set for the A2, right? Even though it is a 3-turn cooldown, but I think she'll be pretty solid. Welcome to the stream, Thule. Thank you for joining us, man. Good luck on that job interview today, bro. Hopefully you get the job. We're all here for you. But let's see here. Let's go back into the video. So yeah, I'm excited for Faction Wars Crypt. I'm excited to see what boss do you think they're going to have for the Faction Wars Crypt? But what boss are you hoping to see?
Whatever the one is on High Elves, I feel like that's the easiest.
Okay. So the High Elves one has the Fear, I believe it is.
Oh, is it Fear?
I believe so. I believe it's the Fear boss, and it has the freezes.
No, that's where they ignore defense, right? That one. I definitely don't want that one.
Yeah.
That one's annoying.
That one seems to be the easier one for the High Elves. But yeah.
Okay.
So are you just gonna go right off the bat and try to get this down as quickly as possible, or are you just gonna get there when you get there?
Yeah, no, I'll try to get to 21 as quickly as possible. Kind of for two reasons. One, you want to be able to farm the top for the best resources for the forge, but two, like say that pops there in CVC, I'd like to have that open to be able to get the extra points for CVC. Whatever. Like min-max and whatever.
Yeah.
I like to min-max.
Yeah. So I've, obviously already have Lydia. I'm not in too much of a hurry. Will I, try to clear it within the first couple of weeks? Probably, but it's not going to be one of my main focuses. Especially because there's no new rewards. It's just going to be the same things, rinse and repeat. So it's not going to be anything that I really care for.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna try to get it done as soon as possible.
There we go. Okay, so we got the voice, but we don't have picture. So
yeah, I've been here for the 5.
You just cut out again, Jay. So next we have.
It's just waiting. Nice setup. I've been here for 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't see your camera on, so I was thinking you were just resetting your stuff up. Okay. Jay, what do you think about the Ascension stuff? Are you ready for it? You gonna go for it or not really?
I think there's too many other things that are important in the game for most players. They shouldn't be focusing too much on that. Like we'll still try it out, right? But you shouldn't be going hard on it. Doesn't make sense, in my opinion. There's just too many other things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I think something's going on with my OBS here. Give me a second, guys. What just happened? Give me a second. There we go. Okay, there we go. I fixed that. All right. Jay, when you have your camera up, just let me know, man. We'll set you back up on the live stream. Right now, we just have you on voice. So search filter is the next big thing we have, and yeah. What do you think about it, Gestal? What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think it's such a great idea. Not to keep using this as a joke, but I create. What's that?
No. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's such a great idea that I created a website to basically do all this functionality. About a year and a half ago. There's so many chants in this game. You need to be able to thumb through it to be able to, find what you're looking for, whether it's a certain buff, a certain debuff, or just affinity, whatever it is. Like I felt like it was something you needed to especially with the new like events that they put out where you can only use a specific faction or what have you. Like you really needed to be able to search through all the champions to be able to do this. So I'm thrilled they did it. It would have been nice, I think, if they had done it to release the game with this, because there are so many champions. But I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it in there.
Jay, what about you? I think he's resetting. So
we've been definitely dying
for
a search filter.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been waiting for years. I mean, the game started with over 200 characters right from the beginning, but I guess it didn't really impact because most people didn't have really care too much. But now that we have so many, same characters, it's tags are one thing.
Yeah, Jay, I'm not sure what's going on, but it keeps cutting in and out on you, my man. So so I'm kind of excited for this, to be honest. My only worry is that they're going to do this just in the browse feature for the game, right? So we're only going to be able to see them while we're in the champion index.
So it won't cover all the champions in the game, right?
Yeah, so we won't be able to go into like the dungeons and then filter here or so we won't be able to like do it in some of the dungeons, which is what my worry is. If they make it so we can filter out through the dungeons, I think that would be great. But that'll be the point. That'll be the big thing. I think I'd rather see it more in arena and more in the dungeons rather than anything else, or in Doom Tower and stuff like that. But it is a step in excuse me, in the right direction, right? We got to give them some credit. They are trying to do something, but we got to give him a little bit of credit. So, Jay, how you doing? Are you good?
Do it sound better now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm on my phone now.
Okay. So, thoughts for the filter you were saying?
Yeah, it's something we needed for a while. In the beginning, you didn't really need it too much because, even though we did have like 200 plus champions, no one really had dupes, right? It's not until like 2 years where all the whales and krakens were complaining that they couldn't empower, couldn't like find characters. But now that we're like 4 years in, it makes sense. We definitely need this type of system because, I mean, I have 5 armigers. I can't, even if I tag them all, I'd still like to be able to like find my champions. So especially with all these mealing champions and dupes, it's so important to have this feature. They went a little more in depth than I thought they would because Plarium doesn't really, when they give us quality of life, it's not like this intense. This is like they went in depth. I was like, wow, this is like a something like what Gestal's done for the community in terms of his website. They went pretty hard on this quality of life. I'm pretty happy they actually did it.
Yeah, so actually I just skipping through the video, I didn't even notice this in the video, but it actually looks like it is going to be a filter in with the dungeons as well too. So I'm actually kind of excited about that, and it looks like we'll be able to add the ones from the Massive Vault. You can choose Awaken only champions, Reserve Vault. So actually, I think they are going to do it justice. I think they're going to make sure that it's done properly.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm a fan. All right. So they're not gonna half-ass it. They are going to make sure that it's done properly, which is pretty cool. So the next thing we get to find out is Hydra Clash, right? This is going to be kind of exciting, especially for myself in being in a top end game clan. I do like how they shout out gods and legends over here, and then everything else is clans that I've never heard of. But gods and legends is number one, so we know who they're showing their favoritism to. But yeah, is this something that you guys are excited for? Are you going to redo your Hydra teams to make sure you can do the most absolute damage you can, or are you just going to make sure that you get your one key in and get out? Gestal, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, definitely excited about this. Hydra's been kind of stale lately. It's certainly gotten to the point if I can just put it on auto and one key, that's what I've been doing. So this brings some life back to Hydra. The rewards are, I would say, more exciting. Being able to get some crazy sets. I don't know if we're going to talk about that later, but to be able to mix and match some of those sets looks insane. So yeah, I'm certainly going to push harder on it now. I might not just set it on auto and walk away. I may actually try and well, not I will 100% try and do my best each key out, and hopefully we can get some of these juicy rewards.
Jay, what about you?
I mean, I'll try to push the key longer because sometimes you get that one key you just pull out sooner. But like especially for brutal for my clan, we're not really a nightmare clan. We have like 1 or 2 clanmates that can do it, but it's not something we push yet because we're trying to get everybody together to be nightmare ready. But yeah, I'll definitely make sure I do a little bit longer on like my hard and brutal keys, stuff like that. But for most players, yeah, I think it's on the mid to higher difficulty, like mid and higher, people will have to definitely go a little bit longer, but not everybody's a nightmare yet, so there's a lot of people still stuck on hard and brutal. So
so it looks like here that the damage is going to be multiplied by 3 to receive the clash points. if I'm reading this right, because you can see here it's got the damage of what they did, clash points multiplier times 3, and it's 109 million, which sounds about right. I'm not gonna pop out the calculator right now to do math, but you know, we've got some guys in my clan that are doing 300 million on Hydra. You know, by the time reset happens, if a couple of people hit it, you know, the Hydra is already dead. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what these numbers are going to come out to. I currently just have my team as a just set it and forget it, you know, Double Taras, Marichka, Uko, and I think I have Krisk and Cardiel, and I just kind of set it, walk away, come back. It's got 45, 50 million damage, and I'm solid. I don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing that I have to do. But I do think now I may have to optimize it to you know, to make it a little bit better. Definitely, it's going to be interesting. Now, Gestal touched on the rewards, and those rewards are going to be, where are we here? We are getting accessories for stone skin and protection. It's real quick.
Total number of items and bonuses to a whopping 9. But first things first, we're going to adjust the balance for this set a little. Namely, we're increasing the chances of buff protection when you have 4 and 6 pieces equipped to 25% and 50% respectively. On top of that, you can get 20 more points of resistance, 8% more speed, and increase your chances of protecting buffs the wearer casts to 75%.
So, that is pretty big, protecting the buffs by 75%. That, I feel, is kind of a hard nerf to Uko in Arena, not being able to steal them. As we all know, Uko has been a pain in the rear end for everybody. I know I was watching Grim Reaper earlier today on stream, and he's like, I hate Uko, I hate the pig. You know, I don't seem to have an issue with her, or him, I should say. But, you know, it's bringing a certain cleanser can help you out. Now, do you think buffing this up to 75% is a good idea? Jay, we'll start with you.
I actually think I do. I didn't expect it to be 75 with the rings. I think 50% on itself being buffed from 35 was pretty cool, because it already was a niche like set. But the fact that you know, giving a natural free buff is just amazing. The fact that you can push it all the way to 75 with rings is kind of like, hey, I want to do this niche setup, but I want to make it even more powerful. That's really strong, man. Like, now I'm actually thinking of protection as like another speed set that gives you more stuff. Like, before it was kind of like niche, you just did it on certain champions, maybe like Sify, people who give a lot of buffs. But now it seems with that, especially if you can get the accessories, that is huge. That is insane. Like, no one can ever strip off their A1s or AoE strips or anything like that. You're just super protected. Including, this is not only just for PvP, but think about Hydra. You don't have to worry about mischief. I mean, there's always that 25%, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have to worry as much. Plus the set gives you resistance. I think it's HP, speed, and resist. So those are really good stats to be tanky overall in the whole game, not just PvP. You know, so I think it's an amazing set now.
Gessel, what about you?
Yeah, I felt like the set was underwhelming before. The only 2 champs I even ever tried it on was certainly Sify, as Jay said, and I had it on Necrit for a little bit. Yeah, 35%, whatever it was. It wasn't really enough to warrant the set, using the set. So bringing it up to 75 it certainly makes it a very appealing set. I had the same thought with Hydra. Like, this would be great. Like, imagine a full team of buffers on Hydra that all have protection. Like, at 75%, like, you're never gonna lose anything. So it's needed. It's needed because I don't know anyone who's really using this right now. So I'm glad they made the change. and it's certainly interesting bringing it up to 75%. Now, granted, you've got to have how many pieces there, so it's it's gonna probably take a while to be able to get all these accessories and have them be worthwhile. But I like it. I'm looking forward to it. But the other cool thing about this is not only so the four piece is buffed up. Or this no, that's the six piece buffed up to 50%. But you can run like a 4-piece of this and like a 4-piece of stone skin.
Yep. I was thinking
And
about
that would
that.
even have a chance at protecting the stone skin. So like that's almost the more exciting thing. Like think about like Savage and stone skin. Or I mean, the options become a little like really open the game up with having these accessories. So I would say that's what I'm more excited about. But I'm glad they buffed this set, and I think I'm glad, and I like these accessories. I think that's cool. It is a bit of a gate that they're adding these to Hydra, because obviously PvE Hydra is probably the most difficult thing in the game right now. Maybe some of these new bosses, but my free-to-play account's a year in, and I can clear normal. Like maybe this is more for endgame, but so I would say that's the only downside. Now I imagine they'll introduce something like this to other sets. I don't know. We'll see, but I like it. All in all, I like it.
So this next part is what I'm kind of excited a little bit about.
To 75% with
So
the full
we
set.
get to
Not only
75%.
that, but we're adding another new effect for the full set. Champions will deal 5% more damage for each buff placed on them by a champion with the full protection set.
So now we're talking about 5% damage for each buff placed on them by someone wearing protection. It does not tell us if it's a one-piece set. Actually, let me finish playing the rest of this.
Is a must for support champions. Allowing them to place and protect buffs is a big deal, as well as increase the damage output for other champions. Then,
Okay, so as I understood it right there, we could wear a one-piece protection set, and my CP can buff up my Taras and increase the damage by 15%. That, I think, is going to be an issue. Because, as we already had broken champions like Taras and Maruchka. Well, they're not broken. The passive of them working together is broken. But imagine now everyone is wearing a stone skin, double stone skin. I don't need Savage anymore, so I can slow my champions down. I put one piece of protection set on every one of my champions because, I don't think it said that they have to have a full set to be able to get the damage mitigation. It just said, and I guess we'll have to see when it comes out, but it just said that we're getting 5% extra damage for each buff. Now, I think that's going to break a lot of the champions, and it really depends on how it's pushed out, because it's not very informative in this video, but I think that's going to be an issue. Gestal, I'll throw it to you first, my man.
So you're saying like you think we could just put like a one piece of the protection set, and that's gonna give that new, because they buffed it where you're per buff placed by that champ, they get the extra 5. I didn't think about that, because you do get bonuses for just having a one piece on.
Yep.
So
it doesn't state whether it's going to be, because let me play it again just to make sure I'm not misunderstanding it.
To 75% with the full set. Not only that, but we're adding another new effect for the full set. Champions will deal 5% more damage.
Okay, it's saying another effect for the full set. Okay, so maybe you will have to have everyone. So
All
I'm
all 9.
misunderstanding that. So you'll have to have all 9 pieces.
Okay.
Which I guess, you know, if it's a solid set, if it's a solid build, you could still have your CP on this and then have your Jarasas give you an extra 15%. So okay, so I was mistaken in that. It is a full set. So but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think that's
But
actually going to be kind of huge too.
well, and frankly, I had almost forgotten about that piece of the added damage per buff. That yeah, obviously is even more of a buff to this set, and yeah, I think you're gonna probably see this way more, and especially in Live Arena. But maybe in Hydra too, if you're going, if you're going up against some of these big clans, that'd be a good way to get some extra damage out there, right?
Right, right. Jay, what about you? What are your thoughts on that part?
Yeah, I was surprised that I mean, they're already giving us like more stats, and on top of the 25% on top of the 50, and then I'm like, wait, they're giving supports a way to do like more damage. I was like, that's interesting, because there are some supports that can, I wouldn't say nuke, they can smack or do a little bit of extra damage, but I was like, that's versatile, because like you're sacrificing not using stone skin or maybe like a damage set, and now you're giving these supports who are really there just to give buffs, but they're now actually to, do a little bit more. I think it's just generous. It's very generous. And I think they did that on purpose because they want people to wear more protection. They don't want people to put so much stone skin on everybody. I think that's the whole point, is why they made it so quotation stronger, is because they want more of the player base to transition to this new set and its buff.
So the way it's supposed to work is not that the support is going to do more damage. It's the damage dealer is going to receive the extra 5% damage for each buff they get. Right? So if CP buffs my Taras is now going to get an extra 15% damage from the 3 buffs that she provides. So
Right, so okay, so I understand that the buffs, because when you AoE a buff, you're giving more damage to everybody else, which means you're a stronger support, because now it's like they have a built-in passive giving people more damage. But that also means that the support itself is doing more damage as well, which normally doesn't happen.
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
That's a great point. Yeah.
Which is pretty nutty. Once again, I think this set's gonna be huge in PvP now.
Yeah. So now we are coming up to Stone Skin, and
The new bonuses are as follows: 8% more HP for 7 pieces of the set
we're
equipped,
gonna get a
extra
few
40
more
points of
things.
resistance for 8, and for the full set, we're increasing the shield granted at the start of each round from 50%.
So that is pretty big. So instead of 50% shield, we're now getting 75% shield for Stone Skin when you have the pieces on. That I feel is going to make Ultimate Death Knight. He's already Cancer in Arena. I think that's going to make him even worse, especially when you pair him with some reaction accessories. Even a well-built Georgid is not going to be able to take him down easily. It's already difficult enough. I mean, I can tell you, pushing Plat Arena, I can't find a fight with UDK in less than 2.5 minutes. If I'm lucky, I can get closer to the 1.5 minute, right? But for the most part, if you built him extremely slow with 6-piece Stone Skin and you build him with triple reaction, it's going to take you at least 2 minutes based on turn wise and everything. Forget live arena. He's just a menace there. But do you think this is worth it? Gestal, we'll go with you first.
I don't know if the extra shield is as enticing as like this as the protection set is, with all the added bonus you get there. What I would have liked more, and maybe this is horrible to say, but I think they should have made it a 3-turn stone skin instead of the extra shield, because there's only maybe like, I don't know, like a Turvold that could take a shield down. A lot of the people that deal the damage are ignoring the shield altogether. So I don't know. I think that would be cooler if it was 3 turns. That's horrible considering what you just said about UDK, but that's what I thought. Like, that was the progression, right? Because you get 1 turn with the 4-piece, you get a 2-turn with the 6-piece, and then the 9-piece, you're just getting a bigger shield. So I don't know. That's just what I thought. That when I heard when I heard the first update, and then they talked about Stone Skin, like immediately I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be 3 turns. But they went with the bigger shield, so I guess it's interesting. I don't know. Um,
I
what
could
I
tell
like
you.
more about it, I think, is, I'm sorry.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna
What were you
say I could
saying?
tell you a 3-turn. No.
Yeah.
It's too much. Too much.
Yeah,
Too
it
much.
is. It is. But what I like about this better is kind of what I referred to before. Like, now you could do like lethal or savage and stone skin with the accessories. You know what I mean? So you could mix and match like that, and I think that could be really powerful. So I like that aspect more than I think of the bigger shield as a whole.
Yeah. Jay, what about you?
Yeah. So 3 turn stone skin, no, hell no. You're gonna make people rage. I'm already raging at 2 turns. Plus, here's another reason why. A lot of champions, right? Like, I've exposed them a few, like Arvis Jack, Andressia. There are some champions that they're not sheepable offenses when you decrease the enemy's buffs, right? So that's not a sheepable offense. There's no champion that can reduce with their skill. They can't reduce 3 turns. So then you would have no option to counteract the 50% chance of doing that. So you would basically just reduce it to 1 turn. You just spent all these resources on a champion that could actually counter it, and in the end, it just leaves them with 1 turn stone skin. Which you have to still wait a whole turn for that. That'd be too much. So thank God they didn't choose 3 turns. Number two, I was happy when I saw that they didn't actually make stone skin super 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 strong. I was like, oh my God, they made protection insane. They're gonna make stone skin even worse because it's Plarium, right? But in actuality, they balanced it out. They gave it only a 25% more shield. That's really nothing. Like, I can blow Stone Skin with a Baron, like even if it's 2 turns most of the time. But 75% just means, yeah, I might not be able to blow certain champs now, but it's okay. It's still 2 turns, right? It's not 3. And here's another thing that we didn't talk about. What's more annoying? Somebody with 2 turn Stone Skin, or I guess you could say 9 pieces now, or someone wearing reaction accessories, 3 of them that you can get from CVC, which basically nullifies all your damage. When now, if you put the 9 piece, you can no longer wear reaction, which limits somebody. Cool, you have a gigantic shield, but if you're no longer using reaction and I have the right stats, I could still probably almost blow your whole shield. So that, I do think that's a good thing. Now you have to think as a player, do I want the 9-piece stone skin, or do I still want to keep my reaction accessories? Or some people like me like to use refresh. I think refresh is insane on certain champions like Kymor, Warlord, and some other people like that. So yeah, I don't think it's as OP as it could have been, and I'm thankful for player not going crazy with Stone Skin. And I think it's just an extra option if players really want to go with.
So I with reaction, all you have to do is really just bomb the champion, and the bombs go right through it, so you won't have to worry about that. We'll see what this new fix that they're planning to do for countering Stone Skin, which is going to be increasing the damage from HP burns. We'll see maybe if that comes into play and how that's going to work. But I would have been a bigger fan of maybe saying, "Hey, let's throw a little more RNG into this. The shield's already good enough. Resistance is good enough. You're gonna gain HP already, because now if we're getting another 8% HP with the shield, everything, you could essentially have a champion out there with almost 200k shield, 200k HP. Excuse me, 200k HP between the shield and his baseline his HP stats, which is going to be kind of hard for you to nuke through. But I would have been a bigger fan of saying, hey, let's make it so a full 9-piece has a chance to cleanse sheep. Give it like a 20% chance to cleanse sheep. I think that would have been a little better and would have given us a little more, then I would have had a reason to build my Taras probably in a damage set and keep him around. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jay, I'll throw this to you first.
If they wanted to make the rings more powerful, what would we add to it?
No. I mean, like, instead of making it a, 75% shield, right? Instead of doing that for the 9-piece, make it so that, it had like a 10, 15, or 20% chance of cleansing a sheep debuff on you.
10-15% is a little still RNG. I mean, but I guess you could argue 5% happens a lot. Even as a 1-star blessing, you wouldn't believe how many. But I think it's because they coded that it's each interaction for each debuff. If it was a sequence where I used Madam and I used my A3 and the coding was like, hey, this champion's doing this to me in this moment, that should only be 5%. But it's the fact it's each situation, like, okay, strip, that's 5%. Okay, I'm putting decreased attack on you, that's 5%. I'm putting decreased defense, that's 5%. So if it wasn't like that, yes, I think that'd be really nice to add to these accessories. But unfortunately, since the sheep blessing works per situation that happens in the coding, it just makes it so there's just too much RNG. And most players, even like good players, get like kecked off something that shouldn't even keck them. And I honestly think, I know they're doing their best to fix polymorph and adding the whole resistance aspect and stuff like that. I just think we shouldn't be touching that anymore. Like, that blessing should not be getting any more power, or like, I know cleansing him might sound good. I just think that you should be able to. Why can't it just be a debuff? Why can't I just, or maybe what they could do is create a new buff. Maybe it's something that like forget what game what kind of RPG it was, but you can kind of like reanimate somebody. So if someone's an animal, you could kind of basically put them back into a human form. That could be a playthrough, because then you could be like building champions that can counter this whole blessing instead of always adding RNG to it. I think it would be better, but.
Gestal, what about yourself?
I don't know what they could add to make that would, maybe make this more appealing. That's certainly interesting. Anything to help with polymorph, I would say I'm in favor of. But yeah, I don't know really what you could put out to make it better. Like as like another example of something. And to Jay's point earlier, I feel like you're right. Like, they kind of balanced the two sets out. Obviously, I was kind of joking about a 3-turn. If they had done that, I think nobody would play this game anymore, or at least someone would do PvP anymore with UDK. But I think he's right. I think they balanced these sets out. They definitely made protection significantly better. And Stone Skin, they didn't make it even more OP, because I mean, you go into any live arena, you're facing at least one champ with Stone Skin, man. I've been seeing some teams where they just go full for everyone, even the offensive champs are in a 6-piece Stone Skin, and they're just like, okay, waste all your attacks on me for 2 rounds, and then you'll be able to. Then you'll be able to hit me, but until then, let me see if I can kill you. People just absolutely abuse Stone Skin, so right. I'm glad they didn't make it OP for sure.
Yeah. So I feel with that dungeon though, now with this change, they've kind of stopped us from farming spider other than silver. Like, even with the mythical pieces, I feel like you're going to get more benefit from the reaction. You're going to get more benefit from the stone skin. You're going to get more benefit from protection. And there's not going to be any need to farm out spider anymore. I don't think, I think I'm going to go back to farming my spider 20 instead of my hard mode 10, other than just CBC points. What do you guys think? Jay?
Yeah, definitely. I understand your sentiment on that because one, you can farm chickens in 20 as well, so you can actually, you know, triple dip during certain events. You could get chickens, you can get yourself silver. I don't know how much more you need, but that's most players would like that, right? They could get multiple different things, being able to beat events, get money, get champions, chickens, and stuff like that, instead of having to put and saving energy as well. But yeah, I see your sentiment because most of these new accessories are going to take up for the old ones we were using. But I don't think it's going to take us some time because you have to remember you have to get the right main stat with the right sub stats and to optimize it and stuff like that. So I mean, we'll probably still be doing Spider to a degree, but we probably won't be doing it as much because we want to focus on these new accessories.
Yeah. What about you, Gestal? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the focus was for sure to be get the new accessories. Yeah, you know, Spider. I farm Spider during CVC. It's the quickest, easiest way to get points, and obviously you get a ton of silver that way as well. So yeah, maybe reverting back as you guys both stated would be a good thought. To be able to farm, you know, to triple dip as Jay said. So, we'll see. Yeah, this Clash Clan, whatever they're called, or the Hydra Clash. Yeah, they're it's once a week, you know. So we'll see actually how many accessories you'll get. And is it like per level of boss? So like, are you gonna be going? Is it total points or is it?
I believe it's going to be per level per boss, is what it showed us in the video.
Okay, so there's
level.
So you'll be getting all of the basically be matching what you're getting now, just depending on what place you come in.
Yep, you'll get.
So yeah, I guess that'll fill up fairly quick. A couple of weeks, as long as you come in. I guess as long as you place, but
yeah, I think that's going to come in pretty good.
yeah.
So before we go on to talk about the Cirilla video with Scratch, which I was very, very tempted to do a meme video about this because she literally just avoided every question as nicely as possible. And I really, really was holding myself back from doing a meme video about this. But we're going to talk about the banning that has been going on amongst some of the Krakens. And we're talking big accounts that have basically gotten the ban for currency manipulation. Do you guys think that this is right? Do you think it's fair? Do you think Plarium just, wasn't paying attention to what was the issues? Because I know Murder Inc. did a video about this a while back and brought it up, and Plarium's been sitting on it for quite some time and was allowing players to do it. Do you think those players should get their accounts back? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Let's start with Gestal first.
Should they get their accounts back? Now, I mean, let's say that it's in their terms of service somewhere that it says that you're not allowed to. I don't know exactly how they did this, right? And from what I've heard, it sounds like they basically were changing,
VPN.
Yeah, their VPN to like Iraq or something, where the exchange was really good, or the packs were better priced. I don't. How much money could you even really save in like that situation? But
So
if this was in their terms of service, right? Nobody reads that stuff. No one playing a video game reads that stuff, right? So how would you even know? Now, I think the way you should approach something like this, instead of like, how I don't even know how would they just straight ban people, whatever. If they had just been like, listen, put out a PSA, put out a PSA somewhere on their YouTube or whatever, being like, listen, we know this is going on. We'd appreciate if everyone stopped doing it, and we're gonna start banning accounts as of this date if it persists. I think that's fine. If they kind of ban these guys and give it back to them with a slap on the wrist, saying, listen, just don't do it anymore. If we see it happening again, then you're gone. Like, that's fine. I understand. Like, they're a company. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been to cheating the system. So if these people are cheating and they've been called out for it, you know, I don't think they should really lose their accounts over it. Obviously, if they knew about this, if Murder Inc. talked about this a while ago, I'm sure they knew about it because he's a pretty big name in the community. I'm sure it crossed someone's desk on Polarium. And they allowed it to go on just because the money was coming in and they didn't care, and now for some reason they care. But that's, I guess, isn't cool either, right? They let the people abuse it. So I guess we have to see how it plays out. I'd really be shocked if they just ban the account and say, all right, we don't want Kraken money anymore. That seems a little absurd, but I
So
guess we'll see.
here's exactly what was going on. These players were able to manipulate the currency situation, and instead of a pack costing them $100, it was costing them 40. So
Uh,
you had a lot of players off this particular website that were able to basically whale out thousands of dollars on some shards and basically go from one Duchess or no Duchess to a +4 Duchess in one day during a 10x or during some sort of pulls. Same thing can be said for the void packs and all of that. So now, the end game community, the whales and krakens all knew about it, and they all know that there was some sort of issues there. I mean, I've known about it for a while. I've never done it, and I wouldn't do it, period, because, anything that could get your account banned is a issue. But yeah, that's exactly what was going on. Is they were able to get basically a 60% discount on everything they purchased in the shop. They're opening 7, 8, 900 shards, and they're getting the champions that they want. But
but this is like, has it been? Is there something new that's been introduced that's like made it more accessible to people, and maybe just a lot more people are doing it, or it's just this has been out there for years?
this has been out there for years. It's been out there for at least over a year. I know that Microsoft had some things that caught on to it. Apple did. I know Google, as soon as they were uh, notified of it, they pretty much put a stop to it. But it has been going on for some time. I could tell you for the better part of at least a year, year and a half is how long I've known about it. There's a whole website, there's a whole business that's been developed because of it. So, Jay, what are your thoughts on it, my man?
Yeah, I agree with Gestal. I think they should at least let people know, because they're still spending, right? They're still spending money in the game, and they're actually provide. It's not like they're stealing. They're not, like someone changing code or stealing or altering things or hacking the game. In a way, it is kind of, but it's like, let's be honest, some of the stuff they sell is just super freaking expensive. And I've been playing since the begin, like maybe 6, 7 months in. I could have started literally during the beta, but I thought it was all the ads and stuff like that. I thought it was a troll game, but it turned out to be actually a good game. And even then, when I first started spending, I was spending $50 to $70 because I couldn't get books and stuff like that. So it's just when you play other gotchas and other games, its rate is one of the highest expensive. So it makes sense why people were trying. They want to get the champs, they want to get the things they want, and people are willing to go out of their way. Some, I won't say names, but some people are able to get accounts from websites or from other players, who handy downs, stuff like that. But you can do that. That's a thing, right? We give free counter giveaways, like if you want to give someone free instead of charging someone. But like when you want certain things on your account or play with certain champs, you just can't. You have to wait for the like casino. You have to hope that you win. So I can understand why people were doing it. Is it right? No, of course, because you have to abide by it's their game, their rules, their TOS. Just like how I have an NDA and have to follow that. But should they have just instantly banned people without even no like precursor? If they would have, support would have hit them up or an email or something like, look, we know you're doing this, you need to stop, and then just stop. And if you do it again, boom, you get banned. I think that would have been better because it looks good on PR. It's like we're trying to communicate with our player base. But maybe they just don't respect those people as all, or players on their high horse and they just don't give a, But that's what I would have done particularly.
Yeah, so I mean, we all know for any spender out there, first of all, I mean, Raid's got the best graphics in the industry right now. They know that. They know that they are one of the hottest games. Honestly, I'm really hoping and rooting for Hell Hades to come out with a solid competitor for Raid, because as much as I do love Raid, how long will it last? We don't know. But I feel like they're pretty much stuck in their ways, and unless somebody else comes in that can do the same job, we're not going to see a lot of changes to at least the monetization side of it, right? So let's get into the interview that Cirilla had with Scratch, and they talk about a lot of, well, Scratch talks about a lot of things, but Cirilla avoids answering a lot of questions. And I feel like she must have gone to like law school or something, because she's very good at giving you a bit of an answer and then changing it so you have no idea what the hell she's talking about, which is a very lawyer thing to do. And I know because I'm married to one. So, but let's go here. Let's see.
To come in and help us out. So we don't have a meme for this topic. So this is going to be Iron Twins Fortress and Hydra Reward. So we're going to need you guys to head over to the Raid Shadow Legend. Are you guys planning to add Immortal Soulstones or Eternal Soulstones to the Hydra rewards for the higher difficulties, or revamp something in this system?
Well, first...
So the first question that Scratch asks her is about the Soulstones and the drop rates that we get from Hydra and the drop rate that we get from Iron Twins. And do you guys think that those are enough, especially with the Soul Chase tournament that we've been getting? Or do we need to get more of the Soulstones? Jay, we'll throw it to you first, my man.
We need more, in my opinion. I'm happy that they added it to daily login. I'm happy that they finally added it to Hydra. I'm happy that there's more comps now to be able to do like Iron Twins, like there's the whole common ones like Helicat Geo, there's the resist comps that I've created, stuff like that. But I just wish there was a little bit more, because I have been pulling, I've been doing double Iron Twins, and the amount of gems you have to put on a monthly basis just so I don't have to spend money on these Soulstone packs, because I'm not doing that. I've already spent so much on shards, got all these champions mastered and booked, which books is a whole nother problem on its own. But it's like you have all these characters, you want them to use them, but you're like, oh, they're not blessed. And then they release new content that's like the Shogun or other stuff we can talk about, right? Like hard dungeons that requires the more blessings you have, or stars they have, then the more they're take less damage or do more to the boss or blah blah blah. So it's like, of course they want to push us to that avenue, like everybody's account, like having more blessings, cool. But you have to still give us some way, like I noticed they're slowly adding it, right, to like heroes path, or maybe like to special type of events. You can, oh, there's soul stones now. Like you can, get yourself a little bit of extra coins. I do like that. I just overall, it's the chances to get things on those mortals and immortals. Man, I saw, what was it, Ash? Like he pulled like 11, what was it, 11 Eternals and got what, 11 epics? I was just like, bro, like imagine spending money on. I would be furious.
So I did all that work on the Hero's Path. I got the Eternal Soul Stone. And I'm gonna just give you guys a guess. Let you guess real quick. What do you think I pulled?
5-star epic.
Which one?
I have no idea.
I'll give you a hint. Saffron Man is scarred by this champion.
Jingle Hunter.
Yeah. 30,000 points for that. Countless bruised silver through the champion development. And I got a 5-star Jingle Hunter. Oh my god. I was so pissed. And I'm like, you only get, if you're lucky, like one a month, if that. But yeah, it was hard. It hurt. Gestal, what about you? What are your thoughts? Do you think the rewards are great? Do you think they need to increase them? Do you think that, they should stay where they are?
I'm not. Yeah, obviously I'd want more rewards. Like today is on Iron Twins is the Void Affinity, so you get like the double rewards. Like I feel like, I mean, what would make me happy then? Like how many rewards would make me happy? Like today is such a big day. It's so like I look forward to Sundays because I'm getting those double rewards. So maybe if they doubled it, would I be happy on the other affinity days, and then we had like 4 times on Sunday? That would be better for sure. I don't know, long term how that would all play out. But I think that would be maybe a good starting point. In terms of just soul stones, yeah, I mean, I guess obviously I would want more. Obviously, like wherever they could do it, I would obviously want more. I have not spent a penny on the soul stones. I didn't really like that system when they brought it in. I just saw the RNG fest in it, so it was frustrating when they brought it in, but I was also open to it because, hey, maybe I get lucky and get something good. Hasn't happened yet, but I just push I push Iron Twins every day. I get what I can, and I'm getting the champs through the shop and whatever, but I mean, even if we got like more of the small, it'd be better. Let's just say that the prices weren't so insane. Let's say it wasn't $40 for an Eternal or the biggest one, whatever it's called. Like, let's say those prices were like a quarter for the small ones, like $1 for the middle guys, and like $5 for the big ones. Like, and then that value would extrapolate however it does throughout the game, it not being 30,000 points for hero path or insanely difficult to get in an event or a tournament. Then the RNG rates would be fine of 2080 of getting a 5-6 star, 2080 of getting a epic and legendary on the Eternals. Because I don't know, because just the RNG is too high. So to answer your question, you definitely need to get more because the RNG is so bad on those things. So yeah, any way they could do it would be great.
Yeah. So my view on this is, listen, we got to farm this boss out once a week. We got to put in more resources to farm this boss than we do our clan boss. I feel, clan boss gives us good rewards throughout the month. You can get your legendary books, you can get your ancient shards, void shards, ancient shards, epic books, so on and so forth. According to Plarium, you could even get, a decent amount of gems, which is a load of crap. But, I feel like if Hydra and Iron Twins is the content that we're going to be able to get these stones from, I think they need to increase them. I think giving them through other areas of the game, like giving the essences or giving the coins to try to get them, is not enough. I think Safari did a video where he, went through how many you could get in a month of the lesser ones, and it was somewhere in the vicinity of like 50. Now, I myself opened up 140, I want to think it was, of the lesser stones, 10 of the eternal stones, and 1 immortal stone, and I could not get the 1,500 points needed for the soul chase, which is sad. I was like, well, you know what? The hell with it. I'm just gonna YOLO everything when I have it. Either that or I'm just gonna save it and see when they do the boosted summonings, which they did say they're planning on to, but haven't released when they are going to do them. But yeah, it's going to be I think they need to buff the chances up. I think her answer in saying no, they're good where they are right now is not adequate, and I feel the only way that that's going to change is if the community says go to hell, we're refusing to buy them or whatever. And but at the same hand, they've made it so that these are basically, I feel like these are basically more necessity now than even pulling shards for champions, right? So you have to allocate more resources to obtaining these than actually obtaining champions, which is insane, in my opinion. But after that, we're going to get into right here where he asks her about the increased rates in summoning. And she said that they are planning on increasing some of the rates to acquiring champions. Didn't release anything of, didn't release anything in telling us on how they're actually going to do it, whether it's going to be, like a monthly guaranteed event, or they're actually thinking about going from a 10x to a 20x. But they said that in the near future, we are going to have more ways to obtain some of these 700 plus champions that are in the game. Is that something that interests you? Or are you kind of like at the point where it's like, I have so many champions already to build, I don't really care? Jay, I'll throw that to you first. Jay? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, it's nice. Like, added stuff is always nice, but like I said earlier, with like the first question, we have so many things to do already in Raid, and when every single time we tell them like, hey, we need to reduce the time, we're getting something else that's increasing time. So they might give us quality of life that reduces something else, but then we have to focus more time in something new as well. So it's like it balances out. Honestly, I still have to have too many champions I want to work with and things like that. Especially with new gear sets, they got buffed. And now they want us to do the Hydra clan stuff too, so I have new accessories to look for. I mean, I'm looking forward to new things they do, but at the same time, I'm not really too concerned about this.
What about you, Gestal?
Yeah, I mean, I have my eye on 2 champs, Tars and George. I don't really care about anyone else. The only other thing I would, it'd be, I guess, I think what they were referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they were referring to basically instead of being like a 10x, maybe doing like a 30x or like a 50x or something, because I mean, a 10x now for a non-affinity is you almost have like a 6% chance. If you hit gold, you have a 6% chance of hitting that 10x champ. That's nothing. Now, 2 years ago, I think that percentage was like 18%, almost 20%. So 1 in 5, like that makes sense, right? But if
Mhm.
it's 1 in 20, then like what's the point? Why would you even do that? That if that's what they're talking about, making that bigger, so then when you're really trying to pinpoint the Duchess, or like right now, I would be happy getting like a non-affinity. I'd be happy getting like my nukers. Like if I could get Rotos or a Harima to be able to empower them, then I might want to pull on like a 50x for Rotos or something. But if it's a 10x for Rotos, I'm just gonna hang on to shards. Like, why would I even pull them? Doesn't make any sense. So if that's what they're talking about, I'm for it. I would like to be able to pinpoint certain champs more. Um, but that's how I interpreted it. I may be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong.
So here's my thought. I feel what's going to happen with this is they have this really crappy wish list in the Soulstones, and I feel like they're going to implement that in the shards, and they're just that's exactly what I feel that they're going to do. And you guys can quote me on this, because increasing it from 10x to 20x or 30x, there's no money in there for them, not whatsoever. They're not going to do it. I feel like they're just going to say, hey, here's a wish list. Put your favorite champions on here, and you'll have a 2x chance of pulling that champion at any particular time, even though we're, going to add another 50 legendaries in the next year. So that's what I feel is going to be, coming up.
Probably right. You're probably right.
Because doing anything else is, there's no monetary value behind it for them, right? If they start throwing out 50x's and 20x's and 30x's, eventually people will get those +3s, +4s, and they will stop spending. And that is not good for the sustainability of their company, right? So, next we're gonna talk about the live arena and the bombshell they dropped on us, where we're going to have a friends list, and you'll be able to battle with your friends list. I am excited about this. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to, when Jay's streaming, get on stream and just crush him. Just for fun. What do you think, Jay?
Oh yeah, it would definitely be able to be nice to crush you back live. But unless you're using the double thoracic.
What do you think I'm gonna do?
Yeah, but definitely, dude. We've been, you know what's funny? A lot of the stuff that has come out in this What's Next and Raid, we've been talking about. Right, we've been talking about for not in just our podcast, but just in general, in like live streams and stuff. People have been talking about this forever. Friends list, live arena updates, the new protection being. I've been telling people, telling Plarium, look, it's not that good. As I said, all these things are nice. They're nice quality of lives. I still think they should add that one tavern thing. I was surprised they didn't put it in this update, but I guess maybe the next one. But yeah, a lot of these are pretty nice. The question is, I wish they would have. Maybe this is the beginning, like the beginning stages, right? Because this is the year of PvP. But hopefully they can take this to the next level. What if I could battle my own clanmates, or we can, like we were talking about before in previous podcasts, how we could eventually, this could evolve, right? Everyone would love to have a tournament. It's cool to fight your friend. It's cool to fight maybe a clanmate, but to have an actual tournament, like Live Arena is one thing, but to actually have like a real PvP where we're not trying to gamble like who's gonna win, but to have actual sanctioned tournaments or be able to see which clan is better than the it can just really revolutionize and bring a lot of people who want to do arena in Raid Shadow Legends. Because some people look at it as oh, I just play PvE and then I get bored, they move on. Or some people want to do PvP but they say it's too costly. I think it'd be very nice to have what about a whole free-to-play little tournament, right? All free-to-play accounts or people who are all Krakens would be nice. But in terms of the friend list, I do think it's an added feature that should have been there since launch, because a lot of other gachas, even one that I'm playing right now, has it at launch.
Yeah. Gestal, what about yourself?
Yeah, I feel like the main reason why they didn't release some way to kind of just do friendly fights is because there is a lack of a friends list, which is kind of crazy. Pretty much every single game you play that has some sort of uh, online community, you're gonna have a friends list because it's not always just gonna be who's in your guild or whatever. Like you obviously are gonna meet people uh, outside of your guild and want to be able to, connect with them easily through the game. So, yeah, I don't know if she necessarily said that they're gonna have a friends list, but she said like a friendly matching system or like a way to friendly fight each other. So, I don't know. I thought that meant that you need to have a friends list to be able to do that. So, yeah, I mean, to me, this should have been this should have come out with Live Arena. It just makes sense. Like, why not? Like, just on top of it, just be able to practice different compositions, like just to try things out before you jump into, the live side of things. You wanna, uh, where it counts. You wanna maybe test some different comps out, uh, or just have fun against your friends. I like your thought of sanctioned tournaments. That would be awesome as well. I played a game. Um, I can't even think of the name of it right now. I've played so many gacha games, but every 2 weeks they had kind of like a tournament of champions. Like that would be awesome for something like this on a sanctioned side of things. But like the kind of the way I thought about it is during a stream you get 16 people come in and you just have like a quick tournament through it. Like I think that would be a ton of fun to be able to do something like that too. So. Yeah, I mean, they got to bring it in. There's, happy they're doing it. Let's just see how they implement it, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of excited for this. I know me and Jay have been talking a lot in the background about the next content creator game. We've been really trying to rack our brains about what we can do for a live arena one, and I feel like this would be great. We can have content creators go against other content creators, do a knockout tournament, and I feel like this is going to be like really, really great for us. Now, the friends list, we actually already have one in game. Well, not in game, but we have one in the Plarium Play browser. So, we'll be able to use that, I feel, for this. So I can't wait. I'm excited. The only thing I don't want to see is granting points for your bonus haul, because there will be trading wins, which is going to help you develop your haul a lot faster. So I don't want to see any of that in there. Because it'll be as simple as like, hey, so let me boost you up. I'm gonna lose to you 10 times.
Yeah,
and
they
then,
should definitely not do that. Yeah, definitely not do that. That'd be horrible.
So, all right. So next we are going to talk about the new fusion, and man, this guy is kind of nuts, right? Let's see if I can pull it up. And here we go. All right. So we have Prince Newt. Now, I don't know if you guys watched the episode yet, but Samar Gemcurse is actually the Mountain King's son, and Newt is his older brother. I don't know if you guys picked that. Did you catch that at all or no?
I caught he was this part of the. I guess I didn't catch the gem curse part of it.
So
I didn't
as
notice
he's leaving, he picks up the child dwarf and says, "Samar, you're going to have to watch out for us now." So I'm guessing there's going to be some backstory about what happens to Samar Gemcurse to get him looking the way he is now. But yes, Prince Newt and Samar Gemcurse are brothers, and the Mountain King is their father.
Yeah.
Before we get into the skill kit and stuff, are you guys planning on going for him? Jay, I'll start off with you first.
Yes, I am definitely going for him, and I know a lot of people think like overhyped stuff and like you should go for this, you should go. No, I'll tell people when certain champions like Lonatharl, I think he's okay, but I don't think he was as good as he should have been, right? Because he was a fusion, not a fragment summon. And I understand that fusions are supposed to be a little bit more powerful, even if they're not void, because there's a lot more work that goes into it usually. Um, but yeah, this champion's nuts. Like, and I guess you could say he's actually nudie. You know, he's just really nutty, man. He's just like, dude, I explained in my video for YouTube. Like, let's just start with just without going too much in detail. Just the A1 is already triple hair. Everyone's like, wow, right? But then it doesn't matter if it's normal or hard Fire Knight. Player basically gave it so that it doesn't matter which one you're doing, he counters it, which is amazing. Then the A2, AoE decrease attack. That's great for all bosses. So you're telling me it's a defensive champion that will be even more tankier versus all bosses in the game? That's nice. On top of the fact that he puts weaken, so he can do 25% extra damage on top of his passive. So which I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys knew this, but that blew my mind when I saw his passive. I was like, why the hell is that a passive? And then I was like, wait a minute, are you telling me that all this time when people counterattacked with the Retribution Mastery or the buff or in their own kit, they always did 75% of their normal damage? They never did 100?
You didn't know that?
I personally didn't know that. But,
that's the same thing for ally attack too.
oh, I didn't know that either. Interesting.
That's why Longbeard is the best ally attack champion, because his passive allows you to, or his ability allows you to do full damage on that.
Right, it balances it out.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest one that I think about this champion, why he's so insane that everyone needs to go with him, is the A3. Because the A3 is not only another triple hitter, but Clarim has basically said it's enemy max HP. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you telling me it's each hit, like in a Acrisia? Or is it just once? And it doesn't say once on the ability, right? Acrisia can actually hit twice, and each hit does enemy max. If this is a non-void affinity champion that can triple hit and do triple enemy max, that's the first in the game, right? So there's just too much in his kit that is just ridiculous, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, so what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely going for him. I have on the main account, I always go for all the fragmented fusions on the main account, just because I have the resources for it, and new shiny object, might as well go for it. But I am excited for him, and I think I can use them on my main account. But on my free-to-play account, I've been saving resources. I haven't gone for the last couple. And 100%, this champ will be insane on my free-to-play account. Will help me in a tremendous amount of areas. So I'm looking forward to going for him on both for pretty much everything that Jay just said. I don't need to reiterate. I think all the abilities look really strong. Now, what I would say is, at first glance, and the way I typically look at a new champion, I like to look at passive first. So when I saw his passive, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but not that big a deal. And but it did remind me that it was 75%. I remember I probably read that, 3 years ago when I got Martyr, and saw the counterattack stuff. But it reminded me, like, oh yeah, you do 75. I totally forgot about that. So the passive did remind me on that, but I was like, okay, whatever. And then you see the A3 and you're like, okay, triple hitter, decreased defense, that's cool. But it doesn't tell you enemy max HP there. And then you look at the A2 and you're like, all right, AoE and 2 debuffs, they're good ones, but whatever. Also plays counterattack on yourself. Okay, cool. But I didn't even look at the A1. I'm like, yeah, this guy's all right. And then I watched the video, someone's video, Nubkex or someone, kind of go through it, and he was the one that mentioned that it was enemy max HP, but he highlighted the A1, which I totally skipped over, not even thinking about it. It's when I just glanced at it, so at first glance I wasn't that fired up, but once you like look into it, look at the A1 and learn about the A3, like yeah, he becomes insane.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Real quick, Ricardo, I just want to let you know you don't actually have to farm stage 20 dungeons. You can do like stage 15 or stage 13. Whatever you can consistently farm for a dungeon is definitely a good idea. So he's definitely not a fusion that I would skip. I did skip the last one, which was Loriaka. But I will not be skipping this one. This one will be done on both my main and my alt account. So just know that you can farm. I believe it's stage 13 or 15 also gives you some decent drop rates. So I would definitely try to do that. Also, feel free to DM me in Discord if you want. Maybe we can come up with some teams for you to farm out those lower dungeons using RTAC and whatever else you might have on your account. Let's see, Jay here just DM'd. He says player also says that he is going to be handy in Hydra thanks to his single target A3 skill. So let's go through his kit real quick. A1 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. If the target turn meter is not decreased, each hit has an 80% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the target for 1 turn. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the Fire Knight team I have does not use freeze. So I think the only good thing about this one is it's going to be great for normal, and it's going to be good to just help bring down that shield. Do either one of you two use freeze on your teams for hard mode Fire Knight?
I'm not currently using it, and I don't see one A1 like him unless he was super fast. I feel like the only way you'd be able to utilize this is if you had 2 of them doing it, to try to like do what like a lore does on 20 and 25, where basically the Fire Knight wouldn't take a turn. But I think there's probably comps that you could come up with where you could just utilize him slowing it down, where maybe you wouldn't need to have, Valk and Cardial and, Theodore, or whatever the kind of main teams are for hard mode.
Yeah. Jay, what about you? Do you use any freezes on your hard mode Fire Knight?
Yeah, of course. Your Carl is a very free-to-play one you can have. I have 2 of them, so I use 2. You can use Gory. There's that epic. I don't know if his name is Durandal, I think. And I think Newt would definitely be another great addition. Not only because it would speed up the run, but when you add Cardial / Valkyrie to the mix, it would not only speed it up, but it would make it insanely fast. Because once again, not only is his A1 multi-hitter, but it's slowing the Fire Knight down, which might allow you to reduce the different speed tunes. And then the A3, since it's enemy max, I mean, if it's literally what they're saying, that's because remember, enemy max on hard modes or just like Doom Tower, that's 10% maxed out. If he's hitting max 10% per hit, that's 30% of a boss's HP on one champion skill. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
On which ability? I'm sorry, what were you talking about?
A3.
So the
A3,
A3,
okay.
Blessed Bash.
Okay. So the A2 attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a decrease attack and a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places a counterattack on this champion for 2 turns. The first part of the kit reads great to me. The only part I don't like is places a counterattack on this champion. Plarium, listen. We have 700 plus champions in this game. There are only 3 champions that do an AoE counterattack, just make it AoE. Come on. I mean, I can sit here and tell you, without Valkyrie on the team, there's no way that you're going to get that Fire Knight 10 hard mode shield down. There's too many. There is no other team without Valkyrie that is going to be able to get it done consistently. So if you wanted him to be a Fire Knight specialist, then I definitely would have made it AoE for everybody. What are your thoughts, Gestal?
I mean, frankly, I think you're turning this off on the Fire Knight anyway, whether it's hard mode or not. I don't think you're going to use this. So, if it was AoE, you would use it, and otherwise you're not going to use it, on stage 3 of the Fire Knight, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Jay, what about you?
For the normal player or late game player, they're gonna keep all the skills open because you need him to use his counterattack more often. But for most of us who are gonna use these, top champs and top comps, yeah, definitely you don't need the A2. It's a waste actually. It might mess up your tune as well. I think he's gonna be, honestly, I've said this before, he's gonna be a Fire Knight god. That's the whole point of episode 7, is to get the dwarf revenge for his for his king and his people. They're actually, I know there's a little side note, but they actually did in his intro, Newt's intro. It's like, they do those Facebook intros, and I usually use them on my stream. They actually show Newt wearing the Fire Knight gear, so that's going to be a new skin that they're going to sell soon. That's kind of a spoiler. But yes, the A2, what do I think of as a skill? Yeah, I mean, player bro, they don't want to give AoE counterattack. They already said it before, like a few years ago, and every single time they try to give it to us, they're like, you know what? Sorry, it's just too good to give AoE. Instead, we'll give it this unique passive, or maybe like a special type of A3. But they just, I don't know, they just don't want to do that. They think the buff itself is just too strong because there's no tactic. You just use it, and it's OP. So like they're trying to lean away from giving us AoE counterattack buff. Unless they did some weird stuff where they like nerfed it by another 25 or 30%, and then player base was okay with that, and they're like, all right, cool, we'll give you more counterattack buff champions, but AoE, but now your damage is reduced by like 50 or 60%. That would probably be a way that player would be kind of okay with it, but otherwise, they're not going to give it to us.
Yeah. I'd be okay with reducing the amount of damage it does to like 50%. If it allowed us to get a few extra champions in the game with that. And then the A3, which is the big one that everybody is excited about, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 3%, stacks up to 30%. Each hit also heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt. I'm gonna throw it to Gestal first. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, enemy max HP, I think it does work like a Chrysia's, I don't know, E2 or E3, where it's a double hitter enemy max HP hit, and that just destroys Hydras. I mean, if you've got someone devoured, that ability knocks it out. I pretty much see this doing the same thing, unless he weak hits, in a bad affinity. But it's also decreasing the target by 30%. The target's defense, I mean, a sick ability. It's awesome. 4-turn cooldown. I mean, can't have everything. 3-turn cooldown would obviously be better, but I think it makes sense why it's a 4-turn cooldown. It's really strong.
Jay, what about you?
Well, let's think about it. So the first part, it's basically Harima's A2 built into his A3. Then it's a lifesteal set built into his A3. Then it's a triple hit enemy max HP. It is probably one of the strongest, other than Rhodos, one of the strongest single target skills in the game.
Okay, so here's going to be a dumb question. How is this an enemy max HP hit? Explain it.
What do you mean?
I don't read enemy max HP here. It says attack.
Yeah, no,
One
it was
enemy-
explain. It's not here, but they put
Yeah.
it out in a post or something.
Okay.
Nubcak said it in his video. That's the
Okay.
only way I learned about it. Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm looking here and I'm like, all right, I'm trying to see here where it says enemy max HP. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not in his skill kit put out. It was just something put out afterwards.
Correct.
Which is going to be a little bit of an issue for a lot of people because when you guys were talking about enemy max HP, I'm like, I haven't had the time to watch any other content creators or anything like that. I've only just watched the episode and read this, and I'm like, okay, am I like, maybe I need to go back to school. I don't know how to read.
What
or
are these guys
what.
talking about?
I'm like, where are they seeing this enemy max HP? Okay, so that makes sense. And I think that a lot of players, it's going to be an issue because they're going to look at his kit this way, and they're not going to know about the enemy max HP, which also is going to make them say, you know what, I may not do this fusion. And that is a problem. But okay, so that explains it now. So now I have even more. I think everybody just needs to go for the fusion. I don't care what resources you have on your account. You need to go for it. It's going to help you out tremendously.
Yes.
And then his passive, right? Counterattacking deals 100% instead of 75, which is huge, huge, huge. You know, as Jay just figured out after 3 years, counterattack and ally attack only deals 75% of the damage. They do not deal 100% unless you have Longbeard on the team, right? So that is going to be huge. I don't think there's anybody else that disagrees. I don't think either one of you two are going to disagree with that, right?
It's great.
And then the aura. The aura is 80% accuracy or 80 accuracy in all battles. I feel that's okay. I would have rather seen it 50% or 50 accuracy in all dungeons. I think that probably would have been better. But it's not like we use accuracy auras anyways in game. Most of us are using speed auras as is. I don't know about you guys, but I don't use any accuracy auras. So, any final thoughts you guys want to talk about the fusion or say anything? You know, do you think the community should go for it or not? Jay, we'll throw it to you first.
They actually leaked his stats already within 2 days. If you watch the episode 7 Dwarven lore that comes after the Call the Arbiter one, during the video, if you pull it up, they actually show the champions that were in that episode, right? Like Newt, Mountain King, Trunda, Molly, and they show him in game, right? I'm guessing in developer mode, but they show his stats on the right hand side of what he's gonna come with. His base HP, his base defense, his speed, he comes with extra accuracy as well. It's pretty crazy. I was very happy with his base stats.
Nice. So you're Jay, you're saying everybody should go for the fusion.
Yeah, let's just give hypothetical, right? Let's just give hypothetical that Plarium is just bad at communication, and by them telling us
That's not a hypothetical, Jay. That is true.
I'm just saying in this specific situation. I know they've done that before. I'm just saying in this specific situation, let's just say they're bad at trying to explain the A3, and we're just misinterpreting it as enemy max HP. What they meant was, well, you're gonna do so much damage because it has high multipliers, and you're reducing their defense, so Newt is gonna basically smack against heads or bosses. Okay, cool. Let's just say it doesn't have enemy max HP. Is this champion still insane to go for? Yes, because there's if once I'm gonna spoil a little bit, but his base defense at level 60 is almost as close as a Valkyrie's. It's 1530. He has insane high defense from without even putting gear on or anything like that, which is crazy. Now we know that he's not a multi AoE champion, which means he's probably gonna have good multipliers, which also means his A1 and his A3 are gonna smack, right? Hopefully, unless they gut him. But overall, yes, this champion brings a lot that most players need to go for. AoE decrease attack, weaken, counterattack for clan boss. If he does have enemy max HP, that's insane for Hydra and Doom Tower bosses, or even Iron Twins. He's got the Hard Fire Knight and normal Fire Knight counter, which we all know most players have trouble with Spider and Fire Knight. That was one of the dungeons that people always suffer in. This champion does so much for like everybody. It's insane.
I don't think people suffer as much in Spider right now because of Artec, but yeah.
Right. But that's still, but you can only get Artec in a certain amount of time, so player bases that come afterwards will.
Yeah, I think they're gonna probably do another Ronda thing with Artec, but we'll see how that works out. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, if you got to do whatever you can to get this champ. He's probably gonna be number 1, 2, or 3 best they do this year. It's gonna help in tremendous amounts of areas of the game. So go for him, definitely go for him.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I was trying to rattle my brain away. You guys were talking about the enemy max HP, but now that, I figured that part out, he's definitely a must if you can do him. Try to save whatever resources you can to make sure you get it done, because you do not want to miss this one. As you all know, Jay missed Brogni and never got him again. Yeah.
That's rough.
Before I let you guys go, shout outs on the channel. Jay, I'm gonna have you go first for a shout out.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna shout out Raid Call the Arbiter. They're doing a really good job, man. Their YouTube channel is just, they're putting out content every week, giving us lore to the actual game. I'm so proud of playing for once, man. For real. And that's hard to say. But the team is doing a really good job on the animations, creating the lore, doing the little other side videos, right? Showing us not just the Call the Arbiter, but the other video that comes out after every single time, like on Friday, about the lore and going a little bit deeper. I think Player's doing a really good job overall. And now they do a little bit of things bad here and there, but overall they're getting a little bit better overall. In terms of a player, I don't really have anyone this week specifically, because I haven't really seen. Everybody else has been kind of doing similar stuff, but that's all I can say.
Gestal, what about you?
I want to shout out my man, Madman. He's at Madman4649 on YouTube. He comes to my stream all the time. He's been doing YouTube for a while now. So you want to go over there, show him some support. He's got some great videos. He does kind of... he doesn't do kind of the mainstream stuff. He puts out just it's always interesting, man. So go give him a follow and then see what he's talking about. He's a great follow there.
My shout out this week's actually gonna go to Grim Reaper. He is going to be getting married soon. He's taking that big leap into how do I put this nicely? Into the unknown. Shout out to him, man. Congratulations. We wish you the best. Make sure that, you guys go show him some love over on Twitch and on his YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go and follow JR Star 3 on YouTube and Twitch as well, and Gestal Gaming both on YouTube and Twitch. These guys are all great content creators. Subscribing to the channel does not cost you a thing. It does help them grow their channels. It does help them. I know Jay's already in the Raid Creator Program, but myself, Gestal, Grim, we are currently not, and that is our goal, is to try to get into that. So before we let the community go, guys, do you have any messages or anything you want to say? Gestal?
I'll be streaming right after this at twitch.tv/Gestal Gaming, and check me out on YouTube as well, Gestal Gaming.
Okay. Jay?
Make sure you guys are saving your soul stones and your shards. They're most likely going to do another soul stone rush for this fusion, and like summon rush or champion chase tournament, most likely for this fusion. I'm kind of scared. I know it's a good champion, but I'm kind of scared they're going to do another Brogni. Maybe it might be a fragment fusion. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not an intense fusion like Foley. I just hope it's doable by most of the community, because if they make it super pay to win, people are going to be very upset.
As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya.